Your first SaaS product is finally humming. Revenue's predictable, customers seem happy, and you've crushed most of the early stage bugs. Your brain starts to wander and it lands on a brilliant, exciting new idea. Product number 2. It feels like the perfect move, a way to unlock explosive growth, diversify your revenue, and build a true product portfolio. But what if I told you that for most founders, this isn't a stroke of genius? It's a trap, a dangerous distraction we call the second product trap. It's the siren song of a new, shiny idea that tempts you to, as one founder put it, immediately complicate everything that's already working perfectly well. Before you spin up that new repository, let's talk about why this move so often backfires. And let's explore a framework of 5 critical levers you must pull before even thinking about launching a second product. Get this right and you could build an empire. Get it wrong and you might end up with 2 failing products instead of 1 successful one. So let's start with why this idea of a second product is so tempting in the first place, especially for founders in that $1 to $20 million revenue range. Well, the reasons are deeply human. For starters, there's just plain old boredom. After years of grinding on one thing, the day-to-day can feel routine. A new idea sparkles with possibility compared to the tedious reality of optimizing your current business. It's easy to mistake a lack of novelty for a lack of opportunity. Another reason is you might be hitting a growth plateau. When the numbers flatten out, it's tempting to think you've tapped out the market. A new product feels like an easy way to jumpstart revenue again, a workaround for the hard grind of optimizing your core business. And finally, there's overconfidence. Your first product worked. You feel like you have the golden touch. That's exactly what happened to Rand Fishkin at Moz. After their initial success, he poured time and money into a grand vision of a broader marketing suite. In his words, he admitted, "I thought I had the golden touch, and when we did it and it didn't work out, I had some hubris." That hubris is the core of the trap. It blinds you to the brutal reality of just how much a second product can cost. Founders systematically underestimate the complexity a second product adds. It's not just about building a new app, it's about what that effort subtracts from your core business. The first and biggest cost is a loss of focus. Every hour your team spends on product number 2 is an hour they're not spending on product number 1. This leads to core product neglect. Bugs pile up, feature requests go unanswered, and your existing customers start to feel abandoned. This is how you trade one thriving business for 2 struggling ones. Next, you dramatically underestimate the execution effort. Remember how hard it was to get your first product off the ground? We tell ourselves it'll be easier this time, but the data tells a different story. Building a new MVP alone can take 8 to 9 months and cost anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. And here's the kicker, an estimated 70% of software costs are actually come after the launch in maintenance, support, and updates. Can you really afford that right now? Finally, a second product often creates organizational chaos. It can muddy your brand positioning. Who are you now? The company that does X or the company that does X and Y? We saw this play out with AppDynamics. They had a massively successful IT monitoring tool. Then they launched Business IQ, a product for a totally different audience, revenue team. But the company's entire DNA, its sales team, its customer success, was built to serve IT users. The result? Poor adoption and retention. From the customer's perspective, it had little relation to the core tool that they love. It just didn't fit. This is why veteran SaaS founder Rob Walling says his default stance is that you probably shouldn't launch a second product. The odds are just too high that it will be a distraction that kills your momentum. So how do you know if you're the exception? Well, that's where our 5 levers come in. Before you commit, you need to honestly assess your business against these 5 critical levers. Think of them as pre-flight checklists. If you can't confidently say yes to all 5, the answer is to stay focused on your core. Let's start with the first lever, which is all about your core product. The question is your first product a well-oiled machine? And I don't mean it's not on fire today. I mean it runs so smoothly that you're almost bored. Revenue is predictable, churn is low, and your operations, sales, and marketing are running like clockwork. Here's a gut check. If you, the founder, disappeared for a month, would your first product continue to thrive? If the answer is no, you're not ready. As a rough benchmark, expert Jason Lemkin suggests that companies start thinking about a second product when they hit around 10 million in ARR or have 5,000 customers. If you're way below that, you're almost certainly have more room to grow with what you've already built. Brings us to the second level, market pull. The question here is, are your customers begging you for this? If your second product ideas don't come from a founder's brilliant brainstorm, they come from your customers. That brings us to the second lever, market pull. The question here is, are your customers begging you for this? The best second product ideas don't come from a founder's brilliant brainstorm. They come from your customers. This is called market pull, and it's a powerful green flag. A perfect example is Ruben Gaiman. His first SaaS was BidSketch, a proposal software. He noticed his customers constantly had to integrate with separate e-signature services. They kept asking for it to be built in. So he eventually built Signwell, a dedicated e-signature product. It was a natural fit, solving the very next problem his customers had. He had a ready-made market pulling the product out of him. Next up is the third level, synergy. The question to ask is, does this new product make your core product more valuable? Synergy isn't just a buzzword. It means that 1 + 1 = 3. Your product should strengthen your core offering, not just exist alongside it. Signwell had perfect synergy with BidSketch. They solved sequential problems for the same user. Compare that to AppDynamics, where the second product targeted a completely different buyer. There was no synergy, which created friction and confusion. Ask yourself, can my current sales team sell this? Does it fit under the same brand umbrella? If the answer is no, you're not launching a second product, you're starting an entirely new company. The fourth lever is about resources. The question is simple. Do you have the firepower to execute without gutting your core team? A new product requires dedicated resources, time, money, and people. If your plan is just to pile more work onto your existing team, you're setting yourself up for failure. The cognitive load of context switching will burn out your best people. The smart move is to set up a dedicated team, even if it's just 1 or 2 engineers, to focus 100% on the new initiative. If you don't have the cash or the people on the bench to do this, you can't afford to expand, period. And that brings us to the fifth and final lever, opportunity cost. The question is this really your best next move? This is the lever most founders ignore. Every dollar an hour that you spend on a new product is a dollar an hour that you can't spend on something else. Before you commit, ask yourself, what if we spent that same $200,000 in 6 months of engineering time on improving our core product? What if we hired 2 more salespeople or built out an enterprise tier our customers have been asking for? This isn't about going broader, it's about going deeper. Exhaust those options first. So let's say you've gone through the levers and you've got green lights across the board. How do you launch product number 2 without falling into that trap? Here's a simple 3-step playbook. First, you de-risk the launch with an MVP. Before you go all in, test the water. Create a landing page, run it by a small group of trusted customers, and see if they'll prepay or sign up for a beta. Take a lesson from FreshBooks. When they wanted to build a whole new version of their software, they secretly launched it under a different name to a small market. They validated the idea and worked out the kinks without risking their main brand. Genius. Second, you need to set a kill switch. Before you start, define what success looks like, and more importantly, define what failure looks like. For example, if we don't have 50 paying customers within 6 months, we shelve the project. Write it down. This prevents you from throwing good money after bad. And third, you must protect the core at all costs. Ring fence your core team. Continue shipping updates and bug fixes for product number 1. Remember, your core SaaS is the engine funding the entire adventure. Don't let it stall while you're off chasing something new. Look, every massive multi-product company you admire today, Atlassian, HubSpot, Adobe, they all started by getting one product right for a year. They earned the right to expand by first dominating their core market. HubSpot didn't launch its sales CRM until its marketing software was already a juggernaut. They expanded from a position of incredible strength, not weakness. The temptation of a second product is often, as one writer put it, a beautiful distraction from the less glamorous but ultimately more rewarding work of perfecting what you've already begun. For most of you watching, your next big breakthrough won't come from a second product. It will come from going deeper on the one that you have. From building that one killer feature, optimizing your pricing, or finally cracking a new marketing channel. Focus is your superpower. Don't give it away too easily. Thanks for watching. Now, I have a question for you. What's one thing you could do to go deeper on your core product this quarter? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.